Alright guys, welcome back. We're going to go over this panel again. Now I'm going to do the blue fire on it. So we have a panel here that we did before that I did the green fire on it. Last video I showed you how to use that moneymaker stencil to duplicate the skull. So now we're going to go ahead and do some blue fire off the back of it. I'm going to kind of show you how I do fire. It's going to be a little bit different on this one because you see the background on this panel is pretty wicked. Just kind of like on this blue one, you notice that one's all kind of different too. So we will do a quick step-by-step on blue fire here. Again, I am going to be using urethane paints, and I'll go over that when we start the flames on what I'm using as far as the paints and then the candies. So let me clean up this little area here. Check out that shirt, and then we will get to the fire. So stay tuned. Okay, so we're going to lay this out now to do the fire. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it this way. Hopefully I get most of this on the screen. So what I'm using again is going to be Tamco. So I'm going to be doing some chalk white mixed in with Patriot Blue and a tad bit of a Yellow Sunrise. So then I'm going to get some colors like this. These will be for the flames. And then candy wise, I am using the SoCal Blue and the Monaco Blue with a drop of lemonade. Fantastic candies. Also, I am mixing in HC 895 as my candy carrier and the HR 1370 medium urethanes. So I'm actually going to be using 2 airbrushes today, and what I meant to say was urethane reducer on that 1370. So I'm going to be using a Iwata Eclipse HP CS and then just a Iwata Revolution CR. So I'll be using the Revolution for the candies, and I will be using the Eclipse, excuse me, as my main airbrush to lay down the flames. And I'm going to be using a couple of different stencils here. So I'm just going to build up off of this, off the skull. I'm going to use some different stencils. I do recommend before you start airbrushing, make sure your brushes are clean. Makes it so much easier. So here we go. We're just going to build this up. Now I do the colored flames a little bit different than when I do like traditional flames. Normally when I do traditional flames or the like more realistic fire, I start out more freehand than I will with the stencils. But because with fire or with colored fire, you're kind of more precise. And it just seems to be better when you use it with stencils, at least for me anyway. So I'm kind of loosely going off. I have a loose little picture that I'm following, kind of like a reference, which I recommend. Really, you should always have a good reference photo when doing flames. If not, you really kind of start getting into, your brain kind of falls back on the old style like hot rod flames, and you'll get really like kind of spaghetti style flames. So we're just kind of mapping out some areas that we want our flames to hit. Sometimes you just go with what's in your head. It doesn't have to be perfect. Again, the more and more you do flames, the better you get as far as wanting to do your designs and how you plan it out. So actually, this stencil here, these two stencils, if you can see them, are some really cool stencils. Found them a few years ago. Richard Markham, actually, you've heard of him. I believe these are his stencils, or his design. They're really cool. I really like them. I actually have not used them in quite a while. If you can find them, go ahead and pick them up. They were really pretty inexpensive, but they're really cool. Okay, so that's my first base color in blue. My first, which is almost kind of like, if you're used to like custom shop, this is almost kind of like their power blue. I believe that's what they called it. And then we will do, first we're going to go do the Monaco, which is a darker blue. It's almost kind of like, I believe this is kind of like the Oriental blue house color. Which is really cool. Bear with me. I'm just going to kind of, I wanted to protect this a little bit on my skull. So because I'm going over a colored background instead of a black, I want to keep this kind of on the actual where I painted. I don't want to go too much into my background or in these voids, because I really don't want too much to darken in the voided area. I just want to stay over the flames. And I'm going to do another color, so some of this void is going to actually go with another color is going to go in there. Okay, so there's my first one done. Let me clean out these airbrushes, and then I'll come back and we'll do the second color, and then we'll do the second layer of candies. So hold on one second, let me clean these out. Okay, so I have my second color, which is more of a lighter, powderier blue, and we're going to use that. So you really kind of don't want to go kind of the same direction as your previous flames. Kind of wanted to have a little bit different direction. I'm kind of build up off your previous one. Now you can hit some of the same areas, brighten it up a little bit if you want to. But generally you kind of want to go a little bit different, give it that movement effect. Now the difference when you use this over like a non-black base, when you go over a colored surface, like a white or something, you really want to be careful because it's hard to erase once you get going. With black, you can just come in if you make a mistake, or if you go all kind of how you don't want to, then you can put it, you can come back in with black and erase it. This way you're kind of stuck when you go, if you go out, you're a little stuck. So be very careful, especially if you have a really organic, non-solid background. It's gonna show up a little bit. Okay, so the next color we're gonna go with is the SoCal, which is going to be a lighter blue candy. This almost kind of reminds me of maybe like it's really kind of almost like, if you're familiar with, I think Hawaiian blue. Maybe that's what I'm thinking. You don't really want to go over the whole thing with it, just where you just came in and did your second color. You spray over the whole thing, it will change the look. So let's change that out. And we're just going to try something a little bit different. I just mixed this one up, and I don't know how this is going to turn out. It might look a little funky, but let's try it. So now I'm just going to hit some highlights. This next color is really more of a, it's got more of a greener tone to it. It's going to be hard to see on here, just because it's because on this one it looks more of a white. It's not. It has a green tint. I'm just gonna come in and we'll put some highlights in some areas. I'm not gonna do too much with this one. Sometimes I feel you really can overdo them. You kind of want to match up your curve. Like, if you have a really weird curve, you want to go back with it, kind of try to get with the same stencil. It just looks better that way. You don't necessarily have to. So another thing, just remember, I may have already said it, make sure you clean your airbrushes good. I don't know if you hear my air stays on a little bit longer on this one, because I did not clean this airbrush. So my trigger is sticking a little bit. Okay, so now I'm just basically just gonna go in and I'm just gonna hit the areas that I did. So this probably will turn it a little bit more green because this is more of a greenish. So it's gonna tie some of that green from that background in on here. I was going more for like a bluish green. This is more of a greenish blue. It's kind of going for a teal color. But I think this will work. I'm gonna hit the face a little bit. Alright, so there you have it. That was real quick and simple. And we will, I'll end up clearing this, and then you'll really be able to see the different layers once it's cleared. And then I think I'm going to do one more video on this panel, so we'll make it a 3-part system. And I'm going to see about cleaning this up a little bit. So if you're not already, please subscribe, like the video, tell me what you think. Tell me if you want to see more videos like this, some kind of step-by-steps, more skull videos. Until next time, rock on.